Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. Mr. Secretary Foxx, I appreciate you being here and enlivening our and enlarging our knowledge on transportation and what's going on in your world. I'm a former mayor as well, not as large of a town as you, small town in East Texas, but we do have a lot of infrastructure there and highways. And I guess one of the biggest things that I've noticed that we want to ensure the highway safety and the public safety should be top priority, and I know you agree with that. But we have a number or a percentage of our highway trust fund, precious dollars, that are being spent on beautification, bike trails, and non-essential things. And I think as of the passage of MAP 21, the highway bill took some of the first steps towards releasing states from mandating spending on these non-essential trails, beautification, et cetera, and other projects. But in my Texas district, which is part of Houston, part of Harris County, but another 8 rural counties, we have bridges that are literally falling apart. And it's distressing to the folks there when we see a large bike project that's going on, 10 miles of bike trails, millions of dollars being spent when we can't seem to get the bridges repaired, which are endangering the public. How much of a shift have you seen in states as to redirecting some of these funds away from these enhancement projects and going to critical infrastructure like bridge work? That's my first question. If you'll answer that one, I appreciate it.
I'd like to survey and come back to you with more specifics, but just my casual observation off the top of my head is that I think states and local governments are struggling with the growth, and all of them are struggling with it in different ways. Some of them, part of the response is to mix up what they're doing, and that's why you start to see some of these investments in the bike ped area. Coincidentally, bike pedestrian is the only area within what we cover at DOT where we've seen an increase in fatalities and accidents over the last 4 years, and I think that may be driving some of those investments as well. I happen to think those are good investments, but I understand the point. Here is why we're here, though. We're here because over the many years, we just haven't taken care of what we have, period. And it's like having math homework that we haven't done for the last month. Now we've got a bunch of it to do, and there's only so much time to get it done. So I think this accumulation of short-term thinking and underinvestment is starting to hit us, and we're starting to look at stuff we've been doing and saying, why are we doing this? But I think bike pedestrian investments, the small amount that we're putting in the Federal Government into those things is actually worth it.
Okay, thank you. And another thing, would you support further changes that would allow states to redirect some funds from the transit spending towards critical infrastructure repair?
Well, I think I think the premise is that the transit investments aren't critical. And if you go up to, for instance, Chicago or New York City, where they've got these subway systems that are aging and old and falling apart, if that system falls apart, our economy is going to fall apart. And so I think that we have critical investments that need to be made in both areas, quite frankly.
There's just not enough funding.
Exactly. And if we pass the Grow America Act, we'll have it.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I'll yield back my time.
Thank you.